today, Ukraine, without any boots on the ground, severely damaged Russian military potential, which is the second biggest rival of the United States after China. So it is extremely successful investment in Ukrainian army. But still, we see that in Congress there are voices which try to at least decrease this support or to cancel it.
US President Joe Biden has promised continued support for Ukraine despite the exclusion of almost £5 billion of further military aid from a last-minute congressional budget deal. This agreement means that the funding will not be on the table for the time being. The US has given $37 billion to the country since the start of Russia's invasion in 2022, and President Biden has requested another $19 billion. Let's speak now to Ukrainian MP Oleksiy Goncharenko on what the impact of this could be. Oleksiy, good news and bad news for Ukraine, I think, at the moment, the withholding of the American money, but you have EU leaders. Are they there today to discuss further funding for Ukraine for the war effort?
EU foreign ministers were in Kiev yesterday. There was a conference that is historical thing because never before EU foreign ministers met on the territory of not of European Union. So that is a symbol that they consider Ukraine to be European Union or soon to become European Union member.
You're smiling about that. I'm just wondering how much Ukraine, appreciates that as the inclusive act that you're suggesting it is.
No, I'm smiling not because I don't believe in this. I'm smiling because it's clear that for the moment we are not a member of EU, but the symbol and the signal is clear. We will become member, and that is very important for us. And that is a very timely signal, especially after really fiasco in Congress, in US Congress, and very disturbing moment. I believe that there will be financing for Ukraine in US budget. I think that this will be fixed, but the alarm, we have this alarm, and we should be very, very attentive. And it's not just about Ukraine, because these people, these far right wing of Republican Party in the United States, they want to see this isolating of the United States from the world, which will be a huge problem for everybody, for Ukraine, for United Kingdom, for Europe, because United States of America is the pillar of security of Europe in a wider sense. And without this, we can have very big problems. So that's why I think we should work today trying to explain US citizens and definitely politicians that it will be a huge mistake to leave the scene at such moment and to stop this leadership, because the world needs US leadership more than ever at this moment. And that is also in the best interest of the United States itself. Imagine if Ukraine would fail, Russian army would stay on the borders of NATO, and they will not just stay, they will attack. But at that time, already US soldiers and officers will need to fight. And today, Ukraine, without any boots on the ground, severely damaged Russian military potential, which is the second biggest rival of the United States after China. So it is extremely successful investment in Ukrainian army. But still, we see that in Congress there are voices which try to at least decrease this support or to cancel it.
So what's the sense? I mean, obviously, as we've said, the federal government shutdown was avoided yesterday, and now there's a deadline of the 17th of November. How much concern is there in Ukraine? Is it possible for Ukraine to win the war without the American support?
No, it is not. The answer is very clear. We can't win the war without US support. And these will have huge consequences for everybody on the planet. First of all, for Europe and European countries, including United Kingdom, because that will mean that Putin will be emboldened, that he will feel that he can push it forward, and he is not going to stop. And I just want to remind you that in Baltic states, which Putin is very much interested in, the UK soldiers, British soldiers, American soldiers, German soldiers are staying. So that will be very, very dangerous. And also, what will be the signal for other tyrants in the world? What will be the signal for Chairman Xi? So he has also his plans about Taiwan and other plans. So that is very dangerous situation. And A lot of is on the stake about U.S. internal policy today.
It looks like you've got sunny skies in Kyiv today, but I wonder how worried you are about the sort of darker clouds settling over parts of Europe at the moment, the change of government in Slovakia, much more Russian supporting administration, and the buildup of troops on the Serbian-Kosovan border, both of which, have bear some relation to what's happening with Ukraine.
Definitely, we see that security of Europe is in danger, and Serbians, who are, I think, at least partly pushed by Russians, making threat to Kosovo, and all the situation which still is not resoluted. Slovakia, first of all, we don't know what will be the government of Slovakia. Yes, party of Mr. Fico, who is a pro-Russian populist, he took the first place, but with just not big difference with the second place, which is like a pro-Western force. So we don't know who will form the government. In any way, Slovakia, with all respect, cannot change the mainstream of European policy. But if to consider it as a symptom, as a problem, yes, we have Mr. Orban in Hungary, who loves Putin and says this openly. Now, probably we can have problems in Slovakia. Is it a problem? Yes. So we need to finish this war as quickly as possible, and for this we need more weaponry. For a long time, United Kingdom was leading these efforts. UK was the first country to provide Ukraine with long-range missiles, Storm Shadows, and they are making difference on the battlefield. UK was the first country to provide Ukraine with tanks, not many, but UK was the first, and that pushed others to provide modern Western tanks. That's important. So many is now in the hands of the United Kingdom. Will UK and UK government continue to show leadership? That is a very important moment because now the world needs this leadership.
And do you feel there's a question mark over that?
It's always the question mark because you can't do once something and then just to relax. And now there are new steps from the UK would be much appreciated. For example, about opening of the Black Sea. United Kingdom is one of the strongest navy in the world, and at the same time, United Kingdom is the hub for maritime insurance companies. And what Russia is doing by blocking the Black Sea, they try to disrupt the world food security by this to cause social unrest and instability. So in rich countries, that will mean inflation. In poor countries, that will mean starvation. That will mean new waves of migrants and social destabilization. You understand all the consequences. So, and in all these areas, United Kingdom can make difference, both from the military side and economical side. And I hope very much that will make. I was invited to Manchester to conference of Conservative Party. Unfortunately, because of strange decision of Ukrainian government, I was not allowed because now we have problems for MPs to leave the country. And I couldn't take part in person in this conference, but I sent my video address to several events, and I'm speaking about this. The Black Sea, I think today is one of the keys to situation, and United Kingdom can make a lot about this.
And Oleksiy, sorry, why is there a problem with MPs leaving the country, leaving Ukraine?
I need to be frank with you. We have a clear autocratic tendencies in Ukraine. Partly it can be justified with the martial time law, but just partly. Because government, I am representing not ruling party, and representatives of ruling party, they received the permission to come to Manchester, and I see their photos there. And I'm not from ruling party, and I don't receive. Even I'm a member of Ukraine for Ukrainian delegation in the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Even they make problems for me to come even for these events. And this at the moment when Ukraine needs parliamentarian diplomacy more than ever.
Yeah.
And also we spoke with you about United States, and also there are restrictions about Ukrainian MP to come to United States. That's a strange thing. That's a game trying to show that this is a one-man war. But it's not. It's the whole nation war.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. President Zelensky has said that no one can turn off Ukraine's resilience, but it sounds like there is a fracturing of the support, the sort of entire nation behind one man's support that we saw certainly at the beginning of the war.
I can tell you that the time of mono spectacle, when it was one artist on the scene, I think it should go away. The whole country is fighting, the whole society is fighting, and all forces should be taken to move and to push Ukrainian interest also abroad. And I think that unfortunately, for the moment, we have problems with this. I hope that President Zelensky will understand this. For the moment, I really say you that we have problems. And that's also one of the areas where we need help and support. We need to keep and to secure democracy in Ukraine, because that's what makes us stronger than Russia. That's why Ukraine didn't fail 19 months ago, what many were predicting, because of Ukrainian society. It was not one man who stopped Russians. No, it was Ukrainian society who stopped Russians. And that was the war of Putin's vertical against Ukrainian horizontal. That's why we were so resilient and strong. But with time, any government in the world who does not like control over itself. That's why we have partly controlled media now in the country. We have diminished role of the parliament, have diminished role of opposition, and many other concerns. That's something which should be changed.
Well, thank you very much indeed for that snapshot of what's happening in Ukraine politically at the moment. Very interesting indeed. That was the Ukrainian MP Oleksiy Goncharenko. Thank you for joining me here on Times Radio.